to the sun.
Meets fashion.
I got New York.
Great balls of fire.
In 1939, Maxwell Marcuse, after working in advertising, decides that he wants to professionalize what up until then had been really kind of an amateur field.
Maxwell Marcuse was a man that really saw what the industry was missing. He spoke to the major department store heads and talked up what LIM was about.
I had a very capable guidance counselor, and she found what was then called the Laboratory Institute of Merchandising, which gave a one-year course and gave a certificate.
It was very small. It was very specific and very small.
Everybody knew everybody else, and it felt like a very welcoming place.
Maxwell passed the baton on to his son, and Adrian took it to a whole other level, which was very exciting.
My earliest recollection of the college itself was in May of 1945. I had come home from overseas, got on a train, got into New York, and walked into the place on 45 West 34th Street.
Essentially during this period, New York is dressing America. New York is manufacturing tens of millions of garments that are dressing the majority of America.
LIM is in the heart of New York. It's in the heart of where fashion really happens. Yeah, some people think it happens in Paris. Some people think fashion happens in London. Some people think fashion happens in Milan. But we know it happens in New York.
This is such a beautiful and inspiring city. Everything is here.
Fashion business is unique. Fashion business and fashion are not always the same thing.
So little of the business is just the fashion designer, and so much of the business is the business of fashion. The kids at LIM may not be the ones out there at the end of the show waving, but they're the ones that got the show to happen.
The idea of wanting to work in the business side of fashion. It's not saying I want to be a sales girl, not even saying I want to be a manager of a store, but saying I want to run a company. So we went from educating sales girls to CEOs.
Whenever I speak to an executive about LIM, oh, you went to LIM? I know someone that went there. That's that great school on the east side.
The college has always been rock solid. It's always had a rock solid reputation.
This is a very well-regarded institution.
The college has a different attitude, a different intellectual grasp of itself.
The fashion industry right now is undergoing some seismic changes. There are careers that exist in fashion now that didn't even exist 10 years ago.
Living online, pinning on Pinterest, tweeting on Twitter, vining on Vine. You know, there's tons of platforms for students to really adopt that entrepreneurial spirit and showcase their talents.
LIM College not only prepares its students for the real world, LIM prepares its students for the new world.
Fashion is always changing. It's always evolving. And fashion always needs new ideas, fresh ideas, people with new ways of doing things.
We're constantly offering new classes, new courses. You cannot just know about the fashion business, you have to have a really good understanding of life in general.
LIM can give you a variety of skills and incredibly entrepreneurial so that you're ready for what's next.
There have been kids that we literally wanted to call the school up and say, do they have to graduate? Can we hire them right away? They're just so good.
LIM gets you so involved in every aspect so that when you graduate, you're almost ahead of the game.
Watching what Elizabeth has done has just been amazing. The school's quadrupled their enrollment. The campus has grown.
The growth has allowed us to offer more to our students by way of resources. But what hasn't changed is the same warm, friendly, personal environment that the college had when I walked through the front door 10 years ago.
What's also interesting is to watch how they've added courses that are more and more relevant to today, including the MBA program. It's one of the only MBA programs in the country that is focused on fashion.
LIM is obviously changing and adapting with the times, if not ahead of the times.
Fashion is not an island. It's a response to the world that wears it. So know about that world.
Read WWD every day. know what's going on in the industry, and check out LIM College.
What do you do in your spare time? What shops do you go to? How curious are you about what's happening in the business? How often do you go into shops whose names you don't know? How often do you go to Brooklyn and see new designers and new ideas and new concepts? What magazines do you read? What newspapers do you read? Are you really into this business? And if you are, those are the things that will set you apart.
LIM gave me a launch pad to really change my life. The internships and the industry connections and respect that the school has in the industry, it had a level of esteem to it that was important.
LIM changed my life. The lessons they taught me were practicality and survival. I grew up here. I think I grew up in the school.
I worked really hard here, the hardest that I've ever worked in my life.
We seem to have made a change in a lot of young people's lives, but I think the things I am most proud of is what Liz has done since she's taken over.
Clearly, I'm very proud of all of the people here today who make it happen. What I'm most humble about is, people say, is your father proud of you? And I'll say, well, I've stepped into his shoes, I hope to fill them. He understood the quality of education. He understood what it meant to be degree granting. He understood what it meant to have accreditation. But without all of the things that he did, none of what we've done over the last dozen years would mean anything.
LIM is a brand. And a brand that lasts is a brand that must be authentic and it must have a heritage. Now with 75 years under its belt, LIM clearly has a heritage, and the success of its graduates is clearly a reflection of the authenticity of the brand.
The history of LIM College is one of constant evolution and innovation. What my grandfather founded as a one-year certificate program exclusively for women is now a master's degree institution with multiple graduate degree programs and a growing global footprint. Thousands of LIM College alumni are out there working on the front lines of the fashion business. Saks Fifth Avenue, Neiman Marcus, Chanel, Ralph Lauren, you name the company, most likely we've had alumni working there. We measure our success by our students' success.
So from Henry Bendel and all of us who work here, happy anniversary LIM College.
Here's to 75 years, LIM.
Congratulations, LIM, on 75 years of excellence, and thank you for making me who I am.
I want to personally thank the Marcuse family for providing such an environment for me to have enjoyed a very fulfilling career.
Happy 75th anniversary, LIM.
You don't look a day over 25.
Happy birthday, LIM College. Can't wait for the party.
A big shout out to Liz Marcuse. You have done an incredible job with your team.
Happy birthday, LIM College. Here's to another 75 years and more.
A great deal of thanks for helping us achieve this wonderful milestone. And here's to the next chapter.